Monday, November 11th, it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to you. Thank you to all veterans. My personal comment is I hate the military, and I appreciate the sacrifice people have made. But as a former social worker, mental health specialist, I've seen directly how disproportionate numbers of veterans are just completely left by the wayside by our country. So to me, it's another example of where America's greatness is a lie. Some veterans are treated well, many are homeless, many are not getting the treatment they need. But let me move on and talk about music. I won't stay long. I'll share that I went to a show last night. I wasn't going to go. And it's interesting because when I first found out about the band earlier in the year, Clan of Zymox finally coming to Omaha, I was excited. I liked the band. And then the tour had to reschedule, and then they finally got here and they played last night. I was actually not going to go. I just I had played the night before with RAF, kind of sore and stiff from that. Had a good night. But I am at the point where I'm more interested in playing than watching others in general. But again, Tim Guthrie had an extra ticket, and even with that, at first I said, yeah, I'll go, and then by midday I said, I'm going to stay home. But that by the time the night came, Tim said to me, it's like, I'll leave your name at the door, you know. No one wanted the ticket. And so I decided, since I needed to, it was a two-pronged thing. Okay, this is why I ended up going. Because snow was coming in last night. It's here. It snowed last night. And I was running low on my main food, the main things I like to eat. And so I was procrastinating the idea that, well, I probably ought to go to the store today before it snows. And then I was thinking, I'll just deal with it tomorrow. Then when Tim said, I'll leave your name at the door, I thought to myself, I really need to go to the store. And so I went to the store first. And I said to myself, and I texted Tim, if there's a decent parking space, I'll see him. So after I went to the store, I went to the club waiting room, and there was a parking spot right out in front. Unfortunately for Clan of Zymox, here in deadbeat Nebraska, Hicktown, yeah, I can say it because I'm from here, there's sophistication here, and there's a lot of brickheadedness here. People still don't know who the hell Zymox is. So there was maybe 100 people at the show. I think there was more people at my show the night before. And there was definitely more people at my show the week before at Oliver's. Kind of a damn shame, you know, because the band is good. But I went, you know, I missed the first band, Bellwether something, which is kind of a shame because I really, you know, like I said, I was not that excited, even though I liked the band. But it turns out that the opening band, the leader of the band used to be in the band March Violets, and I still have some of their records. Snake Dance. So I got to talk to him afterwards because I was, you know, again, hanging out for a minute. I didn't meet Ronnie. I shook his hand. I stand out. There's so many things I can say. I always stand out at shows. I do. But when I went back to the merch table after everything was over, and these guys, the opening band, were hanging out and taking pictures and stuff, another friend of mine asked me, isn't that guy from March Violets? I says, do you remember what he looks like? I don't. So Tony went up and asked him, weren't you in the March Violets? And sure enough, so I got to meet him. But the Clan of Zymox from Holland, band that first came to my attention, signing to the wonderful label 4AD. And I've always liked them. You know, they're considered a goth band, and they play up to that image to a degree. I'm not into goth, but I think the music is beautiful. Some of the music is quite elegant. Personally, because of my love of chords and lushness, I hear a bridge between this kind of music and some of the elements that I like about prog. The big lush keyboard thing going on. Beautiful chords. I see a connection personally. I hear it, you know. I'm glad that I went ahead and went to the show. They were really good. I had watched some clips from earlier in the tour and noticed a couple different shows where Ronnie, the leader of the band, seemed to be having consistent guitar problems with his pedals and stuff. And frankly, I thought to myself, oh, I can miss that. Well, they had it together last night. No problems with the guitars, with the pedals. The sound was really well balanced. You know, with this kind of music, they use a certain amount of backing tracks. But what I noticed is that it wasn't just flown in. Besides the keyboardist, they had a guy back working the computer and playing some of the drum parts live on whatever DAW he was using or whatever he was using. As a result, I caught one missed cue, which brought a smile between the bass player and Ronnie, because no one else would catch it except a musician. And then there's a couple parts where the rhythms were loosey-goosey. It was like it was almost going to fall apart, which was exciting. I do understand why people aren't that into just going to see a band that plays to a backing track like karaoke. You know, you want to experience something real. So it was a great show. They were really having a lot of fun too. Ronnie cracked a lot of corny jokes. He was asking about cows because, again, after all these years. See, I'm glad I went because Zymox has been around for a long time, and this is the first time they've ever been to Omaha. So, of course, I should have been there. I knew everyone knew who I was in the audience, but quite practically, I knew at least a fourth to a third of everyone in the audience. There was maybe 100 people, maybe more. I needed to be there, you know, and I did, you know, and I danced. I don't care, you know, if I'm dancing with anybody or not. I love that music, and what's cool about it is that it still sounds modern, not futuristic. It just still sounds contemporary. The general sound of what they do, to me, still sounds fresh, contemporary. So I have this first one. What is the name of this? Is there a name of this? Is it just Clan of Zymox? My eyes are going. But their first album, which I love, and they played a day off of this, which was great. My favorite by them I don't have on vinyl, and they didn't play anything off of it but Medusa. This is a beautiful, it's a favorite album of mine. Medusa, just gorgeous album. They played Obsession. That was a fairly well-known song for them. So what am I looking for here? Here's the other album I have of theirs, Obsession. Or is this the 12-inch? I think it's the 12-inch. But they played this. That was really good. I just have a few 12 inches by them. Blind Hearts, another really good song. This is a good band. I'm really glad that I went, because as I'm watching Ronnie and the band play, it's like, yeah, I needed to be here, and this is much better than I assumed it was going to be. Phoenix of My Heart, beautiful song. Lush. Love the sound. I like his voice, too. Don't really pay attention to the words too much. You know, some images come through. The music is all I need. It's wonderful. Dream On. They've stayed good. I lost interest in them. You know, like what happens, you know, with depending on the sound. it's kind of like I lost interest in Zymox, and I just kept going. But they're consistent. They played some new songs. I didn't buy anything because the only vinyl they had, I thought that I had the album that this is from, and that's what they had on sale, but I didn't buy it. I thought I already have it. I do on CD, but I didn't. Thought I had the vinyl, but I don't. That's fine. I don't need to be spending money, really. Twist of Shadows, really good album. I like this all the way through, and there's a couple things in here that Clementina, Blind Hearts, The River, those are songs that are kind of repeaters for me. When I play them, I have to go back and play them again. Phoenix on My Heart on CD, really like this song. It's beautiful. And the album that it comes from, Phoenix, it's a good album. I even bought an import version of the single because of extra tracks on this that are not on the other version. Good songs. And here's one of theirs that it's a single, Out of the Rain, but I don't remember what this sounds like, so I'll have to put this on. I'm glad I went to the show. I'm really glad I went to the show. Mainly want to report that to you. Shout out to Brett Harold Hart. He showed me that the collaboration, one of the collaboration CDs that we made, that he produced, Ear Sculpture, is still getting podcast play in Europe, in Germany. Someone really likes our work. Shout you out, Brett. You know, hope you're doing well. I've got a few copies left. I don't care if you buy it or not, frankly, actually. I'm just letting you know. Watched a couple of videos. You know, it takes me a while to tune in. And I watched a person that was new to me. I forgot his name already. But he appears to, he's knowledgeable and interested in what he likes. Older guy with glasses. I enjoyed him. Caught up with Carm. Watched a little bit of Roger Coleman and El Bicho Feo's Cheap Heat. So I recommend El Bicho Feo's series, Cheap Heat. He really does know what he's talking about. And you can find some good records through him for cheap. Something else I was going to talk about the other day, and then it just kind of slipped. Okay, because I'm not feeling doing a poll right now. I was watching or reading something the other day where Gary Burton was brought up. Some comments were made about him that made me think, okay, I know I like Gary Burton, but let me go back and listen to some of this early stuff. So I went back, and I have his first quartet album, Duster. This goes back to maybe 67. Something like 1967. And on these records, there's originals, and then on these early albums, he would do covers, like this one, which is a compilation, Norwegian Wood. And so there's an aspect where it's light, breezy, and real easy on the ears, and you can hear how this would be inoffensive in a mainstream white home. I gotta put it like that because that's what it was marketed for. But the deal is, if you just listen to what Gary's doing, Gary is playing beautifully through everything. Very imaginative, very lyrical, not repeating himself, in the moment of the music. On here, was it on this one? His version of On Green Dolphin Street, which is an old jazz standard in a way. It's like a standard. I play it with my brother. But I was really noticing how beautifully the whole band was playing it. In particular, Steve Swallow, is he on bass on here? I'm pretty sure it is. Really noticed the way that Steve Swallow played through the intervals. and then really wonderful playing. So enjoyed this really, really wonderful old stuff. Listen to that yesterday. Listen to this album by Fat, some more hit. This is really good. Angular and Strange. I love it. I love it. A little bit of this yesterday. Meat Beat Manifesto, Jack Dangers. Asbestos, Lead Asbestos. To me, Jack Dangers was someone who was messing with sampling, beats, was a bit ahead of his time, but kind of painted himself into a corner with his sound, which is why I don't think we hear from him these days. I don't know if Jack is still going. I don't think he is. But Meat Beat Manifesto started off real strong. Now, the other day, I was just musing on age and gratitude, basically. Really trying to stay focused on gratitude, being grateful for being alive, for not being homeless. Oh my God, the homeless epidemic. It's an epidemic. It's sad. But it got me to thinking about being my age. I'm 64. And then I thought to myself, I really had never taken the time to do what I actually, when I was a kid, didn't think I would be able to do. When Sgt. Pepper's came out, I still remember the day my sister bought it and brought it home. Still remember that day. We were huge Beatles fans, and this was scary. It was so different. I mean, it was fascinating, but it was a little frightening. It was so different. But the song, When I'm 64, when I used to listen to it as a kid, I honestly thought to myself, I don't know if I'll be here. Will I be alive at 64? Both of my parents were passed in their 50s. They were both gone by the time they were 55 years old. And so, that I think traumatized me to a degree where I thought, I'm probably not going to live either, So I pulled this. I haven't played it yet, but I was just thinking about this and the Beatles. This is the reissue where the extra track. Someone sent this to me. Thank you so much. It's the double album. Really enjoy it. But it just got me to thinking, because the Beatles, in a lot of ways, are ground zero for what reality is to me. It really changed the way the world looked to me. And from Omaha, because I could only put things together in my mind through the music and the media that was available to me, I painted a really fantastic picture of what this music, of the world that this music comes from. And it's just my ground zero. So I'm just real grateful and thankful to still be alive, talking to you at 64, musing about this record that came out when I was still a kid. Just cool. It's just way cool. Way cool. Ellie, I know you like the pull, so I'll do one for you, okay? I will. I'm gonna just make it easy and just go right over here. Right up here. Not there, but yeah, over here. Because over here is some stuff. There's some interesting stuff in here. What is this? Have I showed this? I was kind of hoping that I would end up here. And here we have Flower Traveling Band. Japanese band, that 70s rock band. I'm going to take this out of the plastic. This is not an original, because the originals are very expensive. The one that you always see by the Flower Traveling Band in people's collections is Satori, and I do have it, but I happen to pull this one, Makeup. When this originally came out in Japan, it actually came out in a leather bag. The album was in a leather bag like this, so that's why copies, if you can find originals, are expensive as hell. So this is a Phoenix bootleg reissue. So they, Here's the outer. This is a live album. I like Satori better, but I'm glad I have this. It's a hard rock sound where they were definitely inspired by bands like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin. And the leader of the band is Joe or something. Character, Joe. They just called him Joe. And really high voice and real good stage presence. Flower Traveling Band. Check it out. Check it out. Okay, folks, that's what I have to say on this Monday morning. Be well. And let's all do our part to try and make where we live less sick, because the world is very sick right now, and our leaders are completely distracted from doing the job that we thought they were supposed to do. No one is minding the men. I'll say it again. Oh, that reminds me that Michael Dawson sent me something. I'm not going to show it till I get it framed. Mind-blowing. Thank you, Michael. Okay, guys, that's enough.